Welcome to this edition of the Rough 'em Up podcast. When I tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, the Roughnecks have been roughed up these last 3 weeks. But I am the A-Train Arlington Lane. As always, my co-host with me is Cullen Watkins. How you doing today, sir, on this weary, roughed up Monday? Hopefully everybody got their taxes done this week. So I hope that all is well. So how
I'll
about
tell
you,
you
sir?
what, Arlington, this has been an awful week. You mentioned the taxes. I had to pay taxes, and then I had to watch that pathetic showing of Roughnecks football. It is a rough Monday, and plus I got finals coming up. Like, I need all the help I can get here, and we got no help from the Roughnecks against Michigan. This is going to be a wild episode, Arlington.
So if you're watching this episode right now and you're wondering why in the world does A-Train have a Michigan Panthers hat on, it's because of the dominance that the Michigan Panthers had against our Houston Roughnecks. This was, oh my goodness, I'm just sitting back wondering, and I'm trying not to peel my skin off my face after what we witnessed, okay? All right. So if you haven't noticed, Michigan did get the win this week against our Roughnecks 34-20. And in the game, we did see some bright lights in it, but overall, it was a pathetic showing. I can't get off of that. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Cullen, what are you thinking?
Yeah, we lost, what was that, 14 points to the Michigan Panthers? And what did we say last week? We said, if you can't beat the Michigan Panthers, you're not beating anybody else in the USFL conference. E.J. Perry played a great game. We made him look like freaking Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson. The defense was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Awful defense. Our D-line, what were they doing? The penalties, the wide open passes, E.J. Perry running around like it's a track meet. He went 16 for 19? Something like that?
Did.
You're not, and I want to get this out of the way right now. Our next 5 games, we have the Arlington Renegades, the Birmingham Stallions, the St. Louis Battlehawks, the San Antonio Brahmas, and then again the Birmingham Stallions. And Arlington, is there a team that I just mentioned that you think we can beat? I don't think so.
It would have to be the Renegades, man. That's the only one. Because I understand, but see, this past week with them, they had their own debacle. Like the whole state of Texas didn't do so hot. San Antonio had the best chance, and they didn't do it. So it just let me know that this is a very competitive league. This is not the same as what we've gotten in the past, right? But that's what I think everybody needs to really grasp, and that's a hard thing to grasp. Like, what happened to our Houston Roughnecks? Why are they playing so bad? The reason why is because the talent level is equal all, and it has gone above from what it was last season. And kudos to those that they put the roster together and said this is our potential championship winning team. And the thing is, right now, it's just not there.
It's not.
Like, they'll be lucky if they can get 2 wins over these next 5 games that you mentioned.
Yep.
And so something has to be almost drastic for them, for the opposing teams, for Houston to have a greater opportunity in winning. And I don't like that. Like, you want to have them at full strength, and you want to see if you can beat them at full strength. So yeah, that's kind of where I am right now. What you thinking, Cole? Because I know I see it, man. There's a lot. It's grim.
I put in my notes here, panic button. I know a lot of times we try to be as positive as we can on this. We've given this team the benefit of the doubt these past 3 weeks. We have. Say, "Oh, they can go into DC. Yeah, they can do it." They didn't. "Oh, Michigan Panthers, right? They can do it." And they didn't. And I just haven't talked about it a lot, but I have lost faith in this coaching staff. And Arlington, I know you have a lot to say about this. The offensive play calling. Why are we calling trick plays in the red zone? Why are we doing that? Where the hell did that come from? What? And then the rest of the game, we're just calling little, our gambler's football of just throw it to a guy and hope he can make a big play. It's not working. It is not working anymore. The little off to dump off the Josh Hall or Justin Hall, my bad. Make him have a play that may have worked in the USFL. That's not working in the UFL. It is not working. I have no faith in this coaching staff. And Arlington, like you said, a major change is going to have to be made. They're not going to make a major change. We saw in the dispersal draft, we didn't get any offensive weapons. Oh, we got our defense better. But I think this coaching staff has shown that they're not willing to make big changes. I'm going to say it. I have no faith in this coaching staff.
And that's wild to me because I looked at Curtis Johnson, what he did last year with the Houston Gamblers. They were what, I think 5-5.
5-5.
They were 5-5, and I'm like, the way that they're playing, okay, 5-5 does seem like it's reachable. Like, but making the playoffs, it's gonna be tough because of who they're up against.
Yeah.
You got, of course, you got with Michigan, you've dealt with Birmingham, and then at home against Memphis, and you can't get through any of those guys. All of your opponents, your first 3 opponents were division games.
Yep.
You're 0-3. So that's not a good sign at all for Roughneck fans. It's not a good sign for the Roughnecks themselves. If you can't get wins against your own division, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see how they could continue during this path. Oh, excuse me, they didn't play against Birmingham. They played against who they used to play week 2.
DC.
There was DC. So you're 0-2 right now against them, and then you're 0-1 against the XFL. If they go, I'm trying my best not to even think 0-10. I'm really not, but that is plausible. That is plausible at this case, man. Like, that's why I'm doing like this, because I'm like, it can really happen.
I was thinking the same thing.
Shout out to my guy, the ref over at Pro Football Newsroom. My guy, man, he was screaming 12-0, 12-0, sign me up. Hey, man, you ain't signed up for this. You didn't. You didn't sign up for this. We didn't sign up for this. And I would hate to see Curtis Johnson be one of those coaches that have like a Detroit Lions type of season where they go 0-16 and you go 0-10. This is possible. And again, that trick play crap, I'm just like, really ridiculous. Like, what are you thinking? Like, you're in the red zone. We already know you have red zone woes. There's a problem there. And you didn't even get down to the 2-minute warning. And you decided we're gonna run a playoff. We're gonna do the field goal. And did you see what happened afterwards? Michigan got the lead back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was all done from there.
Yep.
It was done from there.
Yep.
It was like, you got to be smarter at this. And I'm like, do y'all not understand the UFL rules or whatever? Because also, I got a bone to pick with those refs.
Yeah.
The UFL refs are something else.
It was a bad call game.
But let me digress. I have to get Cullen, please continue on with this madness, because that's all it is at this point.
It is madness. I don't know. I'm speechless. How would you fix this team? I mean, Arlington, I know when we were right before we pressed record, Reed Sennett, you wanted to have a talk about him. I'm from what I saw, I mean, it's just it's
The
nothing
stats
special.
almost don't match up from what happened.
Oh, exactly, exactly. Because his stats, what, 197 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 131 passer rating. Okay, it's not bad, but I I don't know. This team that was once the game. It's hard to talk in this episode to everyone watching. I know there was a guy who commented week 1 about how we were mentioning the Gamblers too much and how, oh, I wish the Gamblers were still around instead of the Roughnecks. Warning, I don't care anymore. All right. The Gamblers team was a million times worse than the Houston Roughnecks in 2023. And we're seeing that. They did not get any better than the other team. Like, look at the Battlehawks, Arlington. Look at what they did. They added Pita Tumonamatanu or the XFL Defensive Player of the Year. Those are the upgrades that these teams should be making. What
And
did the Houston Gamblers do?
And here's the thing. They kept Chris Odom, right? You got Ethan Westbrooks. You added Reuben Foster to the mix. So the defense was solid. But here's the problem. The defense cannot carry your team here. Your
Yep.
offense has to be solid. If you have guys like Justice Hall out there, right? Mark Thompson, which we've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and he hasn't gotten better yet. We can't rush his healing.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do that. It's only up to him and the team doctors to ensure that they're okay, that he's okay to play. And even when he gets out there on the field, will he even get the amount of touches that he should be getting on the field? That's going to be the key part. Like, what's going to happen, you know, if he's not getting his touches when he get out there? Because he hasn't got any gameplay yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're looking at this team, you know, on 4, goodness gracious, it's really looking like it. But they're at home. They're at home. And I want to have a lot of faith in this team to do well at Rice Stadium. And it's looking really, really bleak. You know, really bleak.
Because I'll tell you what, Arlington, and I know you agree with me on this. Yeah, we're playing another 0-3 team, the Arlington Renegades. Arlington, the Arlington Renegades are not an 0-3 team. They're not. All right. We all know it. I mean, they should have beat DC last week, but again, they gave up the big comeback or whatever. Who cares? The Arlington Renegades is a much better team than the Houston Roughnecks. I'm just looking at the 2 quarterbacks. I have a feeling, Arlington, that when we play Arlington, oh, that's funny. When we play the Renegades at Rice, we are going to get smoked by that Lindsey Scott Luis Perez duo. I mean, they look good. They look good.
Listen, this matchup they got coming up, it's going to have to be on the offense. Now, if Mark Thompson returns, great. You're going to need to be smart on offense.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key here. Defense cannot sustain a majority of that game because they're going to get tired very easily. And what are you looking forward to going down into the fourth quarter and then you're scoring and saying, hey, let's go ahead and pull off the 4th and 12 tricks? Like those, as much as that they have been converted this season, that's still not an easy play to make.
No.
And you still have to convert it. Like I've been getting from fans, oh, that 4th and 12 just seems way too easy. That's not actually the case. The case is stop it. Just stop the 4th and 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. You're going to have to go back on defense again if the team chooses to go that route. That means, like you say all the time, suck it up and see if you can stop the play. It's going to be a pass. You're not going to see a 12-yard run on a 4th down. It's just damn near impossible. So stop the pass. That's where I'm saying at this rate. And if Houston finds himself in that predicament, you got to convert it. Your offense has to be on point.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope it doesn't have to get to that point. It has to be for the first 3 quarters, and then even going into the 4th quarter, you have to sustain that. Like the back and forth is fine, but also you have to maintain the lead, and you got to be really, really smart on offense. No trick plays in the red zone. You saw it didn't work. You need to make conversions.
And Arlington, when you brought up the 4th and 12 play, be honest with me. I know my answer. Pretty easy. Would you trust this team to convert a 4th and 12 to, like, in a late game situation? Would you trust this team to make a big 4th and 12 pass downfield? I know I wouldn't. I know I
It's
wouldn't.
hard. It's hard for me to just jump off and say no, but I'm at 51-49. No. The reason why I say that because anything can happen on a 4th and 12.
Mm-hmm.
You convert a penalty. You can, roughing the passes. That's been happening a lot in these games.
It
You know,
has. It has.
and so a pass interference can occur. Or the actual completion can be
Mm-hmm.
done. You got the quarterback to do it. Just convert it. That's simple. It's 12 yards. It's not 10. It's not 15 as that was in the past. It's 12. So
Mm-hmm.
they went try to find a common ground, common middle for it. But the way I look at it, man, I know it seems contradictory, but excuse me, I don't see it happening.
Yeah. And I mean, I hate that we're being so down on this team, but what else are we supposed to do?
Transparency. It's a
Yeah,
transparency.
we're 0-3. We're 0-3, and I'm sorry again. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, I don't see a win in sight. Like you said, the best chance is against the Renegades. We're not beating the Birmingham Stallions. My God, we are not beating them. The Battlehawks look great. The Brahmas, that's going to be a tough team to beat. I mean, I don't see an end in sight with this team. And you mentioned the penalties, Arlington. The penalties have just been awful for this team.
And I mean, the paper bags over the head. If you see that happen again next week,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you should know that where we're headed. Transparency is setting in. So, like
And then,
this has nothing to be about being negative, because there are ways to make a positive out of this. That
mm-hmm.
means you just got to be smarter when you got the ball on offense. That means when you're on defense, you finding ways to get to that quarterback, or you finding ways to make a play on the ball. And tackling has always been a problem in the UFL, period. Not just the Roughnecks, but period. I saw it
Mm-hmm.
in several games. I saw it in every game this past weekend, how
Yep.
terrible tackling was.
Yep.
So it's out there. You got to be smarter. If you want it, you'll go get it.
Mm-hmm. Because
Just as
was it the Marcus Sims big touchdown? So many missed tackles on that. I mean, that was just a
it's a
dagger.
backbreaker. Yeah,
That
it
was
was
a
a huge
dagger.
bad. Yeah.
That's first thing I think of. Um, man, yeah, it's just in the history of the Houston Roughnecks, this is undoubtedly the lowest of the low. Undoubtedly. And we went from 5-0 with PJ Walker, 7-3 last year, making playoffs, to now this. And I'm worried how a lot of fans are going to react. And two, I mean, you have the Houston Texans doing their thing. And this is like the worst time for the Roughnecks to be doing bad, because the city of Houston fans will realize, all right, why I don't need to support a 0-3 Houston Roughnecks team. I got the Houston Texans coming up. I mean, in 2020, when you had PJ Walker and the Roughnecks doing their thing, 5-0, it was when like the Texans were god awful, but things have changed, and I hope that I hope that we don't start seeing it in the attendance numbers. Arlington, I am nervous about the attendance numbers coming up. I mean, what? I guess it was Easter weekend against Memphis, but attendance was still a lot lower than it has been in Houston. And now going 0-3, losing teams don't sell tickets. Plain and simple.
It's true.
What are your thoughts on the attendance?
That's very true. And I would love for folks to come out. This is a Texas battle in Rice Stadium. Um, I don't know how much the weather is going to play a factor
Mhm.
in it,
Mhm.
because the difference between, when you were in TDECU and then Rice, everything is legitimately open.
Yep.
Whereas you can't run for cover easily, because the way how it's slanted and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
That'll play a factor, but also it's the product on the field. What are you going to provide for them in this game?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, Cullen, the Renegades are not an 0-3 team. They had a close battle against the Battlehawks. Of course, they lost by 10 at home to Birmingham, and then they lost by a point at home again to the DC Defenders. So they are definitely looking to smack around the Houston Roughnecks,
Yep.
and the Roughnecks cannot let that happen. Don't
Yep.
let them smack you around.
Yep.
Because they're pissed. They're very pissed about what happened.
And this is the same. I know it's a different team, different coaching staff, but this is the same team that technically knocked you out of the playoffs in XFL 2023. So as a fan, there's nothing more. I'd want nothing more than to beat the Arlington Renegades, but I don't know if it will happen. I don't know. I wish I could find the words with how I feel about this team. I'm very underwhelmed. I'm
Yeah.
just very underwhelmed with what we're seeing on the field. Like you were saying, Arlington, the on-field product just hasn't been good. The real quick, the blocked punts. Oh, what we're like getting. I get nervous every time we punt the ball for good reason. I mean, so I don't know what to do except just I don't know. I don't want to say call this season a wrap because we're just 3 games and about to be 4 games in, but uh sure as heck don't enjoy what I'm seeing. There's going to need to be changes. Now, depending on do you have anything else you want to add on that?
It's not looking good at all, man.
No.
I want to go ahead and get to these picks to next week, man, because
Yeah.
that's all
I agree. I agree.
I want to get out of that because I'm like, it's gonna be derailment time. I'm trying not to go that route. For
Now
those
next
that
if
check
we
out
lose next episode, we'll see how we feel about that.
if you see
So,
my head down throughout the entire show, don't lose yourself, folks. This is a you see, this is a very spirited episode. Just wait till next week.
oh yeah. It's gonna get each week it's gonna get oh god, by week 10, may God help us, right?
It's like, hey, we're gonna be like, we gotta go through 10 weeks of this.
So pick wise, let's see.
Oh God, I was 1-3. Oh
I was
God.
1-3 as well.
Yes, because I picked all the Texas teams to win.
Let's see. You had Arlington, Houston, and
I picked
San
all the
Antonio
Texas
winning.
teams, and they all let me down.
So that brings you to 4-8 on the
Oh
season.
Jesus! I need to get to 8-8 by the time this week is over.
8-8. Okay,
I need
okay.
to get to 500, so I gotta get a perfect. I have to get a perfect week.
And I am 6-6. I had a rough week as well. I don't know what I was thinking with the Memphis Birmingham game. I didn't know Adrian Martinez was gonna
Hey,
do what he did.
listen. I applaud Skip Holtz. And Zach Potter, the general manager of
Yes.
the Stallions. Dude is 23 years of age and he's put together these title teams. So
Doing crazy things, crazy things. And I'm gonna say it. I'm looking forward to the Battlehawks Birmingham championship game. I'm looking forward to that.
yeah.
I
Hey,
am
a lot of people are looking forward to that. And right now, I know the Battlehawks are on fire. They beat the top team in the league. So yeah, interested to
I'm
see how that XFL conference plays out.
I know. I'm excited about that. Going so bottom up as
Yes,
usual. 0-3 Arlington versus 0-3 Houston. Or Arlington, who are you picking?
my namesake.
Making it easy on me.
My namesake. I ain't even go even front. Hey, maybe that might be the psychological way to do this from this point on. Is pick against Houston. Maybe they win that way.
Because what I've gone for Houston every week so far. This is the first week. I agree, Arlington. I'm picking the Renegades to win this.
Let's just go against the grain and see if it actually. Like, I need them to win, but I don't see it happening. So
I agree. I agree. So
we're gonna do
we
a
both
psychological
agree.
move.
Renegades. Yeah, Renegades pick up their first win. I think Roughnecks go to 0-4.
Okay.
Uh, done with that. Done with that.
Yes.
Michigan versus San Antonio. Who you got?
Oh man, I really
In
want to
San
pick San
Antonio.
Antonio. I really want to pick San Antonio with this game because they just got off the home loss and they want to bounce back. Michigan's on the road, and this is their first road game.
Mhm.
And so this is going to be interesting to see how well they play out there. But I really think San Antonio is bouncing back after that tough home loss. So San
Yep,
Antonio this week.
I agree. I think the Panthers just look really good. I think a lot of people are gonna be high on the Panthers, but they played Houston, who played a awful game, and I think it made Michigan look really good. Uh,
Yes,
Brahmas, they kept it close. It was a
exactly.
good
Their
game.
offense is still great. You know what
Yep,
I mean? They
yep, they
still
played a good
scoring
game.
20 points in each of the first three games and stuff. So
Mhm.
I'll take San Antonio. I think you do the same.
I agree. San Antonio. I don't know. They're just such a solid team all around. A solid team. Uh, Birmingham versus Defenders in Birmingham.
Birmingham, hands down.
What do you mean? What? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Birmingham, all
What's
in,
the point?
all in. I mean, how did you? What were your thoughts on the Renegades DC game this week? Like, do you think
Oh
the
my
Defenders
god.
played?
Oh my gosh. Listen. Oh, okay. I'm trying to make this quick as possible. You need to learn the 2-minute warning. When we get to that, use it.
Yes.
That's your best friend. That is your best friend. Okay, let me dissect this real quick because I'm gonna do it again on the X-Man show, and you're gonna see that probably before you see this show here. I'm gonna
Hmm.
dissect it. Listen, if you get to the 2-minute warning, that keeps it, and then I think it was going for a field goal at the time,
Yep.
that has to run clock. That has to run clock after that. You do it beforehand, you giving them gifts. That means you give them an extra timeout. So that means they had ample time to do whatever they wanted to do. And then when they got when they able to get the conversion, and then they drove down the field and they hit the game winning field goal. That should have never happened.
Never happened.
That should have never happened. The time was your friend and you didn't use it.
Hmm.
Long story short.
What I just found I wouldn't expect such a mental lapse from a Bob Stoops coach team. I don't know. Again, I'm a little biased against Bob Stoops. I was never a Bob Stoops fan. I grew up a UT fan, so obviously I'm going to hate anything Oklahoma.
I understand. I understand.
Anyways, last but definitely not least, I think this should be a pretty fun game. Memphis at St. Louis. I have St. Louis. I'm so high on the Battlehawks right now. It's not even funny. They look great. They look phenomenal.
And the thing that about this game is that Jacour Pearson's supposedly supposed to be returning this game. Supposedly.
Woo-hoo!
It's supposed to be the week. Now, if he doesn't show up, well, then I don't think that'll be a problem. I still don't, because they got too many offensive weapons.
Way too
And
many.
but it brings a great challenge for Memphis.
Mhm,
Is can you stop those weapons? Um, Mateo Durant is excelling as RB1
mhm,
for the Battlehawks. Jacob Sailors did a phenomenal job in their two-back system that they used. I think Gallman was inactive this past week,
mhm,
but I really do see that that's how they go forward throughout the year. You see it worked. All aspects of Coach Beck said all aspects worked out
mhm,
for them. Defense made stops when they needed to. And that's the main thing in the UFL. Stupid penalties. Stop around the board. That's all 8 teams. Stop
mhm.
with the stupid penalties. And these refs make the right calls, man, because you're starting to look a little suspect. Starting to look a little suspect out there. But in this case, for the Battlehawks and Showboats, Battlehawks over Showboats. So
Battlehawks.
St.
I
Louis.
agree. I Agree. I feel like, I don't know, we have a good grasp of these teams now.
Yeah,
Like, we can make
I'm
some
feeling
pretty
confident about it. These picks. I'm like,
because what,
I hope,
we have the same picks. So
I
it's
hope and pray for TV attendance wise, for television ratings, that Arlington Houston game does get some viewers, because that's looking really, really suspect, because it's the last game of the weekend.
yeah,
And you know, Saturday's games is it because look, they're the only game
on
Sunday.
Sunday. Yep.
They're
Only
the only
game.
game Sunday. So, and that's a 1 o'clock game. You got the first game on ABC, and then you got the regional action. You got the regional action with the Defenders and Stallions and Panthers Brahmas. So that's going to be split.
Yep. It's gonna be interesting. Uh, but I was thinking about that too with the only game on Sunday, how that's gonna affect it. First of all, the 1 p.m. I'm gonna need to lather up in sunscreen this time. I'm not making the same mistake. I'm not gonna be red the next time on next episode. I promise you that. And second of all, too, like, I know since I have season tickets, I have no choice but to go, but I'm gonna try and bring a few of my friends out for this one. And hopefully, I mean, we can move up seats a little bit, because if not a lot of people are gonna be there, I mean, why not?
You might as well. Hey, you know what?
Why not?
Why not take a chance? Take a chance. See what happens.
So, what an episode this was. To everyone watching, we hope that next week is a lot better. I feel like we've been saying that at the very end of these episodes for a few weeks now, but
We got to keep saying it, because we got to have hope. We got to have hope.
because
Got
if
to
we
have
lose
hope.
to if we lose to Arlington, go 0-4, I don't know. I might wear an Orlando Guardians shirt the next episode. Because at this point, I think even that team could beat us. Let's be honest.
Oh, that's evil. Oh, that's evil. That's evil. Because hey, this is more than the Rough 'em Up podcast. They getting roughed up. I mean, they
Yeah.
getting
Look,
beat down.
they saw our name, but they're taking it too literally. They're supposed to be doing that to the other team, not themselves.
It's still here though. We still here. We
We're
still
still
here.
here. We're going to be here all 10 weeks. So, folks, thank you so much for watching. This is a fun episode, though. It's always fun to just let loose. We need me and Arlington. We need this after watching the Roughnecks every week. All right. So, Arlington, anything else you want to say?
Hey, folks, make sure that you go and tune in to the Rough 'em Up podcast on Pro Football Newsroom. Make sure you go to Fuel Sports Network and tune in each week. We've had a lot of fun doing this. This has always been fun for me.
Yep.
And make sure that you go and grab your Amazon or Roku TV apps and grab the Fuel Sports Network, because, hey, we continue to grow here, out here. And grateful to always have Cullen do his thing. And we're going to continue on. We're gonna keep grinding each and every week, man.
No
I'm
matter
starting
what.
to get nervous. And you can follow me at Arlington Lane on Twitter. So yeah, make sure you follow me there.
Check out his stuff on Twitter. I'm telling y'all, over the weekend during the UFL games, I'm having to check Twitter like every 30 minutes. Like, what is Arlington saying about this? So go check him out on Twitter. All right. It is so entertaining. But
You know what's funny though? I sit there and I'll be on my phone, and I can watch the game on my phone too. So I'm tweeting as I'm watching the game. It goes like the little picture. And so I'll be going at it too, man. Like, it was just so funny to me how that Houston Roughneck game. I was like, a trick play? Are you serious right now? I'm like, yeah. I'm going in today. Today's gonna be one of those rare days that Arlington is just gonna go off. And he surely did. And it's just what it was, man. And I was very, very unimpressed by that coaching staff with what they chose to do with CJ Johnson and Price being offensive coordinator. Come on, man. We gotta do better than that. Like, I'm going to be interested to see what happens in their Zoom calls today. Because there's going to be some Zoom calls about this.
There better be. There better be.
There's going to be some questions asked, Coach Johnson.
And And there should be. And
what can be done to change things up in the red zone? Because
yep, something needs to. Something needs to.
Trick plays ain't
so we'll see if they make adjustments. If not, we'll talk about that next episode. Folks, thank you so much for watching. And remember,